and wait through the daylight. Sit back and wait through the daylight.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere.
In fact, that kids involved in the arts in general always score higher on all tests. In fact, on the SAT and that, it's almost 20-some%. And it's because they use every single facet and every side of their brain. Their creative thinking and their critical thinking is that much more in tune than other kids because they use it on a daily basis in our classes.
So many different levels of depth of things I learned from band and from music and from everything that I couldn't even say in words. Like, as I started being in band, my grades got better, my association with people got better. I was closer to people. I was more easily relating to people. It was just a 100% turn from before when I wasn't in band.
Music improves math achievement, proficiency, reading, and cognitive development, boosts SAT verbal scores, and skills for second language learners. Music helps you think by activating and synchronizing neural firing patterns that orchestrate and connect multiple brain sites. The College Board found that students engaged in arts learning for all 4 years of high school scored substantially higher on the SAT than students with 6 months or less training in the arts. Visual arts improve reading and math scores. Recently, 96 pupils in 8 first-grade classrooms participated in the study. 4 classes were arts enriched and 4 were controlled with a standard arts curriculum with no special enrichment. After 7 months, both math and reading scores of the arts enriched classes were significantly higher than the standard control group. They scored an average of 77% at grade level compared to 55% at grade level for the control group.
As an artist, I always put emotions into my artwork because it lets me work through what I'm feeling and express it in the piece. And by having the artwork have a meaning behind it, it lets the emotion also touch the viewer, so it's kind of a win-win.
Art therapy is a human service profession that utilizes art media, images, creative art processes, and patient-client responses to the created products as reflections of an individual's developmental abilities, personality, interests, concerns, and conflicts.
I think art therapy is so useful, and I think it really helps children, especially children that are in need or have a disability. I know my psychology teacher, before he became a teacher, he worked with autistic children, and he said that through all the tantrums, the bad moments, the bad days, through it all, art therapy was one of the major solutions that fixed many of his problems with his children. It actually made them grow as they got older, more capable to deal with their issues.
Artistic materials are carriers of potent emotions, and if children invest their work with emotion, it can produce self-knowledge, acceptance of self, and open new pathways to learning. Children can then positively redirect their emotions in a safe and non-threatening way.
It is clear that the arts are an innate expressive form that increases a student's cognitive and emotional ability. Unfortunately, the value of the arts has recently been debated as less valuable than the tested subjects and has created an increased lack of funding for the arts.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground.
The No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 is an effort to reshape the public school system. The goal is to ensure that 95 to 100% of students score proficient or above in reading, mathematics, and science by 2014.
Budgets are being cut because state funds are paying for No Child Left Behind testing. Consequences for the arts include everything from the elimination of instrument repair budgets to the loss of entire teaching musician programs.
In 2003, earmarked funds were cut on the grounds that the Bush administration has a policy of turning small categorical programs with limited impact in order to fund higher priorities. In doing so, funds were limited to $30 million for the arts and focused on arts that integrated with a math, English, or science course. The integration of art programs furthermore removed art as a core subject.
Just the simple fact that we don't actually have the things we need to teach the kids, which is a pretty big deal when you don't have books for kids. You don't have the supplies they need. In our specific case, I don't have instruments for kids. And there's no money to give them the things that they need. And you only can put so much of that burden on the parents. When you have to play a sousaphone marching band and then a tuba and concert band, and both of them start at $3,500 a piece, it's a pretty big expenditure.
All over the country, students are experiencing art funding cuts. In the state of Arizona, 79% of schools spend less than $1 per year per student for arts instruction, or less than 1/2 of 1 cent per day per student. 9% spend $1 to $5 per year, 3% spend $5 to $10 per year, and 9% spend $10 or more dollars per year. Even class time for the arts has been cut to allow for more time for tested subjects. In elementary schools, test prep and test taking may well exceed the 26 hours typically devoted to visual arts instruction in a year. It is a common practice for 7th and 8th graders to lose their elective class if they fail the state test.
Not having arts in schools creates less motivated students and results in increased delinquency and dropout rates.
The whole morale of the school and the desire for kids to show up to school diminishes greatly. They have nothing to look forward to.
School would suck a lot more than it does now because band's like my outlet period where I just get to relax and stuff. And I probably have better grades because I have more time, but honestly, I think band's worth it because it's really fun and it keeps my creative juices flowing.
This is demonstrated in the Milwaukee School District. Here it is shown that within 2 to 3 years of the budget cuts, moral has decreased and vandalism and delinquency has increased. Disciplinary staff had to be added to deal with the new problems that had arisen. In most cases, the additional staff cost more than the art programs themselves. Despite these known benefits, as the findings of this report confirm, New York City public school students at schools with the lowest graduation rates have the least access to the instruction in the arts. The national graduation crisis has reached epidemic proportions. More than 1 million students across the United States drop out of high school each year. Moreover, nearly 1/3 of all high school students and nearly half of all African Americans, Latinos, and Native Americans fail to graduate from public high school on time. Dropouts are much more likely than graduates to be unemployed or living in poverty, in prison or on death row, unhealthy, divorced, or single parents with children who drop out of high school. These outcomes are particularly evident in the New York City area, where 1 in every 5 young people is out of school and out of work.
A possible solution for arts being cut in schools could involve intertwining art with core subjects. Combining art with core classes improves students' cognition, test scores, and grades, while still letting them use a creative outlet and experience the art.
Another view is increased advocacy for the arts. Parent advocates plead the case for arts when they stand before school boards protesting the minimal, if any, attention given to the arts in their children's schools. Educators and researchers plead the case for the arts when they identify and apply for sources of financial support for art-based programs or investigations. And artist-educator advocates refuel their engines with parental support. The positive results of programs and research studies and the energy derived from the sense of common cause experienced at professional arts education.
I would probably try to start a club that we could have a band, since I still love playing my instrument. I would continue to play my instrument, continue to take lessons, but
So nothing's gonna stop you
no,
from playing.
I won't stop. Nothing can stop the fire.
If given all the power in the world, all the budget, all everything, how would you fix the crisis that we have of art budget cuts?
If I could fix it, I would. The reality is I don't think there's enough money in the world to fix it. It has progressively gotten worse over the years. And until there are people in the higher positions of the state and of the government who firmly believe that we are here to educate the future rather than the now, it doesn't matter what type of money you have or how much you have, it's not going to change. We need people in there who remember what it was like to sit in 9th grade social studies class, or what it was like to sit in a band program, what it was like to have connections with teachers, or to have teachers that they can't even remember their names. And until we have that, where the government is thinking more of we the people rather than I the administrator, or I the representative, or I the governor, or I the senator, you're not going to be able to fix it.
Woo!